Oh, we're filming. So we've got Lance Armstrong here. Let's have a look at Lance Armstrong position on the bike. Let's go have a look. See here. This is actually from Cycling Weekly. What's Ambini on the case? But anyway, so this is Lance Armstrong. You see his bars are pretty wide. He's like on a mountain bike almost. Looks like a 44 centimeter bar. This is the old days when jerseys weren't tight around the biceps. And you see Lance, he's about 178 centimeters. Looks to be about, I'd say 74, 75 kilo in that picture there. Let's have a look at Lance Armstrong's bikes. Let's bring up the big picture. And here we have the bike. All right, this is a Lance Armstrong bicycle here. So we're going to, that's the old one. That looks like 22, I'd say it's probably 2004. There's like on the SSLs. But it is the, it's not a very aggressive setup, is it? It's not a very aggressive setup at all. He's running a 58 centimeter bike with 20 mil of spaces underneath. And he's even got his levers flipped right up. Let's have another look at another one here. Now, this one here. So this is when Lance made his comeback, and we're going to go to Bike Radar and have a look. So this is back from James Huang, 2009. So everybody made a lot of money off Lance Armstrong. Yeah, you do an article about Lance, he's the ultimate click, but I'm still cashing today. It's like, 21 years since he won his first Tour de France. I'm still making money off Lance. So for all those people who ditched Lance when he came honest and clean, he was in the corner, he said, okay, I did. All those people that ditched him, everyone made so much money on Lance. And that's a great social experiment right there. It's how crap it is that people bailed on Lance when Lance made them rich and made the sport it is today and made carbon fibre the material for bicycles. So here we have the 58 centimeter Madone, 20 mil of spaces, SRAM red levers. Look how high they are. The lever is almost, look how high that is. That's a really non-aggressive setup. It almost looks like the frame's too big for him, doesn't it? It's amazing. But Lance's efforts displayed even a clamp derailleur. That's amazing, isn't it? What do you think of that paint job? It looks pretty interesting. I mean, when it came out, I was like, wow, 20 mil space under the stem. You wouldn't really see that much today, would you? But that was very, very effective for Lance. So, you might see some of my bikes. Some of my bikes are really slammed, very, very aggressive, and some of them aren't. If I'm doing longer rides, my bike's less slammed. If I'm doing shorter rides, TTs, I prefer it slammed. But it's personal preference for you. So this bike here apparently weighed about, it's winner's not weighing because 2009, apparently weighed about 7.2 kilos. It looks like we're using some Gore ride-on cables there. If you haven't used that, it goes pretty good in the wet. SRAM red group set, my favourite group set, the SRAM red mechanical. Interesting paint job, isn't it? The old SRAM levers, I've got a few sets of those still, and I love them. But that's the deal there. That is pretty detailed. I don't know if it's decals or what. Pretty epic. I wonder where this actual bike is today. Gold chainring bolts. That standard sort of derailleur hanger. And SRAM. It looks like a Durace chain, doesn't it? And these Madones are good because you could run mountain bike bottom bracket, mountain bike rear derailleurs on them because of the rear derailleur cable guides down low. So that's pretty cool. Hutchinson, looks like tubulars, 7800 pedals, looks like, and one of those old school seat masters, the double mounts with a bit of a pain in the bum sometimes, but not too bad. Look at that saddle. Even there, look at that. Look how old school that saddle looks. Is that? I think it's a Contour, and so old school stuff. Carbon steerer with 5 mil spaces on top, deep enough plug under the bottom bolt. Thanks for coming. 120 mil stem. So Lance ran a 120 mil stem. Let's have another look at some of Lance's bikes over the years. This is another one here. Here we go. Let's go to this one here. This is Radio Shack, Lance Armstrong Radio Shack. Look at that. You don't really see those wheels anymore, do you? That much, Let's have a suss of this one. This is Madone 6 Series. Return to the Cobbles. Another one by James Huang. So James made a good career off of Lance Armstrong as well. Click off of that, and here we go here. So, if you're a photographer taking photos of Lance, you're making money. So there you go. That's the same deal. Well, that's interesting. I remember that color. That paint was like a matte finish. And it felt really sort of unusual. I like the feel of it, but it felt different. And yeah, I've got one of these frames laying in my stash. But I think this is the best frame Trek ever made. It's lightweight, worked really good. 120mm stem, and interesting. It's 10mm spacers. Interesting, it wasn't slammed on the top there like that. Very interesting. That's a 10mm spacer. Looks like a 15mm a spacer underneath. Interesting. Wireless speedo, and good tire. What tires are we running there? Hard to say. Hutchie's 24 maybe. San Marco, Concord, Mello, Johnny. And look, skinny tyres, aren't they, for Flanders? Skinny tyres. Interesting. It's just been washed. It's got the water drips in there. Braze on derailleur, this one. Braze on derailleur. The 6 Series. And that Duratrack. That looks so cool when it first came out. The look boss, BB90, bottom bracket, ready to be ovalized. And a switch to Keo pedals. Interesting. In case he needs to borrow a bike from a teammate. SRAM, Brazon, front derailleur, FD. Look at that. That was so cool back in the day, wasn't it? The Nissan. Epicness. So that is Lance Armstrong's bikes. Yeah, that's interesting. They used the 1070 cassette. I didn't even get a light one. That was very interesting. I'm not sure exactly why. It came out as some mud shedding, but who knows. That is the deal there. That's Lance Armstrong's bike setup is not very aggressive. So it just goes to show you, if your bike setup isn't that aggressive, that's okay. That's okay. You know, tweak with it. Find out what you like. Run an aggressive setup. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then go back. Make sure you mark everything with a whiteout pen. But just experiment with your position on the bike. Lower your bars. See how you feel. But yeah. But if you are forced to ride higher bars, that's just the best you can go. Then that's fine. Because look at Lance Armstrong. His bike setup and performances were definitely not what I would call aero bike position. I wouldn't call it aggressive at all. I'd call it almost like an ultra endurance setup. Yeah, it was devastatingly effective for Lance Armstrong. Those levers really high, big frame. You know, it's just amazing. Amazing.